Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. So is the UFO PSYOP incoming? It's going to be funny if it is. Are they going to be playing that card next? That is the question. Are the little green men going to appear and say, "Take me to your leader"? In the last couple of days, we have seen numerous reports of unidentified objects being brought down by the military in North America, it says here. There's even one report from China. So the UFO PSYOP, we've talked about this before. They've been building this up slowly for what, the last 5-10 years or so? Well, it's longer than that, but it's increased a lot in the last 5 or 10 years. You've got the Pentagon releasing footage, ex-puppet presidents like Bill Clinton and Obama talking openly about these things on mainstream talk shows. The Pope has said he would baptize an alien, and the Roman Empire have got a special group together to discuss what and how they would proceed if aliens made contact. And all of these spells, these spellcasts, these broadcasts, these messages, these scripts are being funneled into the public to condition them to the idea of UFOs and alien contact. So is this the beginning of this particular Project Bluebeam UFO PSYOP? I don't know. It could possibly still be them creating the illusion, another illusion, of China being the opposition when they are all in it together. Either way, the news channels are certainly putting the idea of little green men and Zerg out into the public, which you can see in these two clips.
It's interesting. This is kind of unusual that these pilots saw different things, and that is sort of, I guess, adding to the mystery of all this.
Yeah, not even the pilots apparently were really able to identify what they saw. And just to take you back for a sec, on Thursday, the U.S. defense officials sent F-35 fighter jets up to try to figure out what this object was that was flying around near Alaska. Those pilots, we have learned, have given very conflicting accounts of what they actually experienced, with some pilots saying that the object interfered with the plane's sensors, other pilots saying that they didn't really experience that, other pilots saying that when they looked at the object, they could identify no identifiable propulsion system, and they did not know how it was actually staying in the air, cruising at that altitude of about 40,000 feet. So this has all added to the Pentagon's wariness of describing in more detail what this object actually is until they can get more information through the debris that they are recovering right now.
Hi, thanks, Pat, and thanks for doing this. This is for General Van Herk. Because you still haven't been able to tell us what these things are that we are shooting out of the sky, that raises the question, have you ruled out aliens or extraterrestrials, and if so, why? Because that is what everyone is asking us right now.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Helene. I'll let the intel community and the counterintelligence community figure that out. I haven't ruled out anything. At this point, we continue to assess every threat or potential threat unknown that approaches North America with an attempt to identify it.
Okay, so as you can see, they are just putting that idea out there again. Now, the UFO PSYOP, like I said, the masses have been conditioned with this idea for decades and decades. Look at the Steven Spielberg movies, E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the numerous TV shows. As I said in my last video, Hollywood, celebrities, influencers, scientists, right, have been busy over the last 50 years ridiculing the Bible, the idea of God, Jesus, while at the same time talking about the Big Bang and creating movies and TV shows and stories about UFOs and aliens. Now, I don't believe in UFOs and aliens from outer space. If they exist at all, I would suggest they are demons, fallen angels. Now, if prophecy is playing out, and we will be seeing a one world government, the enslavement of the human race, the tribulation, the mark of the beast, and the worshipping of the beast, or specifically the worship of the image of the beast, if all of that is happening, and it's happening now, wouldn't the UFO PSYOP play perfectly into that concept, into that plan? Imagine if all of a sudden UFOs appear and the fake stream media then go all out and say, we have made contact with an alien race. How many of the public, how many of the masses are going to believe it? This contact, this event could then be used to argue that the Bible is not real and that God did not create the world. It was, of course, this alien race that created it. They could appear and say they have made contact because we, us humans, are destroying the planet, the old CC-33, and that they had to intervene to save us. And they are now going to instruct us on what to do and how we can change our future. And who would we be then to argue with this vastly more intelligent being, as they are our creators? It works within that context. This is where people may then actually start to worship these visitors from another world, therefore worship the image of the beast, and would then get the mark of the beast. So it works in that context. It's a bit far out for some people, I suppose, for most people, but it makes sense from a biblical perspective, as these could actually be fallen angels, demons masquerading as aliens from another planet, and they would have been here all along. I just want to go over some biblical evidence for this possibility. I'm going to try and do this quickly, but really it deserves a little bit more depth, but time is not on my side today, okay? So this is the way I see it. Now, Jesus said that the end of days will be like the days of Noah. That is Noah, Noah's ark, the flood, okay? It says here, for as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. And this was something to look for, right? This was a sign that it's going to be like in the days of Noah. Of course, in the days of Noah, we can see here it says, then the Lord saw that wickedness of man was great upon the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart were altogether evil all the time. We're living in a wicked time at the moment. Now, in the days of Noah, okay, you had the Nephilim, which is loosely translated as giants. The Nephilim were the offspring between the sons of God and humans, human women. Now, many people believe when it says the sons of God that these were in fact angels that have turned rogue. They are then fallen angels because, as it says in Genesis 6, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful and they married any of them they chose. And then we have the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. So because of this, right, fallen angels mating and having children with humans messed up the DNA of God's creation. Everything went tits up basically, because then it states the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. This is in the days of Noah, okay, that Jesus said you need to look out for as a sign. It will be like the days of Noah. Again, it goes on to say, God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people on the earth had corrupted their ways. So does this mean their DNA had been corrupted by these fallen angels, okay? So then, of course, because of this corruption, you had the flood. The flood wiped out everybody on earth apart from those on the ark, on Noah's ark. Now, was the reason for this, was it not because the DNA of the human race was contaminated by these fallen angels, by Satan, and God had to wipe the slate clean and start all over again? As you can see, it also states the Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterwards. So after the flood, these DNA altered beings were still around. And as we're talking about bloodlines, does this not tie into the Pharaoh? Okay, the Pharaoh who ordered the death of all male babies at the time of Moses because he was afraid of losing power due to a prophecy. Or the King Herod, who did the same thing at the time of Jesus, slaughtering all babies 2 years and under. Is this them trying to wipe out a bloodline? Is this why Jesus was the virgin birth? Because it couldn't happen naturally, because the bloodline of humans was contaminated? I'm just throwing these things out there. What I'm trying to say is that if the end of days is going to be like the days of Noah, then that would include would have to include the fallen angels and the Nephilim and people messing with the DNA of God's creation. So I think the UFO PSYOP is a very possible illusion that will happen at some point. Okay? Look, this is a very quick video for a subject that is very complex, but let us know what you think in the comments. Should I do a more advanced video of this? And come and subscribe to the website at hugotalks.com to get notified of all video uploads, as many are not uploaded on third-party platforms anymore. And I'll see you later.